things are looking pretty dim for Japanese electronics firms, and George Stahl is here to enlighten us. Maybe not lighten their load, but enlighten us. What's so bad? I mean, Japanese electronics firms for decades were the greatest thing ever.
And helped to get the country out of the post-World War II downturn that they suffered economically.
Yeah.
But more recently, they haven't been able to keep up with the trends in electronics. Now, some of it is beyond their control. The strong yen, the devastating earthquake and tsunami that occurred there last year, but
flooding in Thailand.
The flooding, exactly. But other parts of it is that in many ways these companies have gotten too big and unwieldy to be able to reflect and to react to consumer patterns, enabling other companies like an Apple, like a Samsung, to come in and out innovate them, or in some ways out manufacture them.
Is it just the way they're organized? The thing that you get, for instance, in the Jobs biography is how it's great how the way Apple it's a central reporting structure where the whole company is working together, and they're not creating thousands of products, they're creating a handful. It's all done in tandem. I mean, is that a problem with some of these Japanese firms? They've got their hands in too many products, and it's all siloed, and
it's just what we see with companies that have big legacy products. Companies that these companies have been producing TVs and cameras and stuff like that for many years, and they're
since there were TVs.
Yeah,
and
basically
close to it. If it's not exactly since then, I mean, that's a problem, isn't it?
So when you have those legacy problems, sometimes you get stuck in that rut, and it's tough to make the changes, which is something that people have said Apple is going to face in a few years with certain products. They've been able to make some type of transition with the iPods, where they've had moved on from there and de-emphasized that line of product. But it's going to be a challenge for even companies like Apple and Samsung. Right now, it's a challenge for the Japanese.
How much money are they losing?
They're losing $17 billion. Or they're on track to
for the full year in 2011.
For the full year ending in March, for the fiscal year ending in March.
Yeah,
and obviously, everything gets compared to Apple, and Apple's $13 billion in earnings in the fourth quarter.
$16 billion of cash flow or something in the fourth quarter
Yeah,
alone.
so which is just an abnormal quarter to start with, but still it just highlights the problems that the Japanese companies are facing.
What can these companies do to turn themselves around? Sony just now has brought in a new chief. Does he have a plan to streamline the company, to cut costs? What is he going to do to turn it around?
Well, again, some of it is beyond his control, the company's control. I mean, they can only do so much in the face of currency rates and what they're doing, and then what the country is undergoing in terms of rehabilitating from the earthquake last year. But part of it is just streamlining and making themselves leaner to make them more competitive.
And that is easier said than done, because that's traumatic, and I've been involved in that sort of work. Very quickly, how does Apple avoid this fate? You first, and then you.
I think the thing that's going for Apple, the reason they're not going to be Motorola, like with the Razr phone disappearing, is they've got the ecosystem. The reason people keep buying iPhones, the reason they buy iPads, the reason they're going to buy an Apple television when it comes out, is because they're buying all this stuff on iTunes.
And because Digits is on it. That's why.
There you go. They've got all their content on their Apple devices. They're buying stuff in the iTunes store. It just makes sense, if your digital life is on Apple products, to kind of keep it on Apple products.
Do you buy that, or you got a better idea?
That's exactly why Apple looks to be in a better position to avoid that type of fate.
So they won't become the next Sony, the next Panasonic, and everything's going to be okay. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. George Stahl, Managing Editor, Dow Jones Newswire.